All right. Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera, and this is the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. And this episode is sponsored by Du Bachata Radio, where you can listen to this interview in high quality live right now. And tonight's guest here truly is very special, someone I've really anticipated talking to for so long. I've seen him on Facebook, his visuals on YouTube, seeing just his influence, especially in the DC scene, the DMV area. We have the one and only Sean Btista from 24K Visions here in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Diamond, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Like, thanks for having me here, first of all.
No,
And
absolutely, absolutely.
just being a part of it, man, I think that's real cool. Coming from a very humble background in the dance scene and, as like a minority looking person in this scene, like it's kind of unlikely, but, I'm glad to be here, glad to be where I'm at today. And yeah, I feel blessed. So thank you for having me here, man.
No, absolutely. I mean, for me, I love having a platform that I'm able to bring artists and creatives on and really kind of pick their brains. And really, for me, I always say a resounding quote is celebrating successes of these artists and creatives like yourself because I've had too many conversations for so long that we usually have at parties upstairs in the rooms and have those deep discussions about like, hey, I see all the work I'm doing, but sometimes I just feel like the acknowledgement is not always there. So having a platform like this where we can really have the artists like yourselves telling your story with your truth from your experience, I think is essential. But also realizing people that I've had on have talking so highly about you to me, and it was like, you know what, I definitely needed to have you on and really just understand truly who Sean is, because through Facebook and visuals, we see things. But for me, I knew there was so much more to the person than just the visuals we see. So I think tonight, honestly, is a really a special moment. Being able to celebrate you, celebrate your success, your past, your present, your future. So again, I thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Like I said, man, this is super awesome. Like it really means a lot for me. You're one of those people that like just such a supporter and really appreciate really good art. So that tells me a lot. Like all the things that you're doing right now, the people you're connecting with, like the people that have been in the lives are like really has something to say. And whether it's a T, whether things that we don't really hear usually on a different perspective,
Hmm.
which I value so much is perspective, right? Because that's where it really that's how we got here, in my opinion. Like how you got to where you're at today, and how I got it here by just having really really good perspective about things, you know. And as a person that I feel like I really dig my way up. Like I
Hmm.
really fought for it, but at the same time it came really natural
Yeah.
because I love people. Like I love meeting new people, and at the same time I like challenges because
Mm.
I wasn't really a citizen, so I didn't
Gotcha.
really get it until I was like 17, man. So coming from a background that I was an immigrant, became a
Hmm.
citizen, joined military.
Yeah.
um, it was a crazy experience because like you really gotta want that process, or else
Mhm.
you're gonna always do the same thing that you've always done. So I figured, like, yo, man, you gotta figure this out. Or high school is gonna be tough. Military, it's gonna be tough.
Hmm.
I speak English, and let alone you get out of the military. You
Yeah.
learn so many valuable things that, like, wow, this is life changing, and that's why, man, I love the Marine Corps. So, I spent good amount of years there, and learned a lot of experience, traveled, and at the same time was able to do what I do now,
Hmm.
but more. More now. So, having a taste while doing Marine Corps is like having that passion and actually doing it. At the same time, um, still working and doing what I'm supposed to do, doing my duties, serving the country.
Yeah.
And really focusing on a career, giving 110% effort at all times. So really glad about that, and that's how that's really how it happened. It opened a lot of doors and a lot of potential for me. Sorry,
Mhm.
opportunities that opened my eyes. Like, hey man, like you don't have to just do that. You can do more, but if you want it, So to me, it's like, okay, I can do this stuff. Will I let my limitations just carry me away? Like, absolutely
Mm.
not, because I tasted it already being in the military, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, like, you can say the same thing. Like, it's just the military. It's just so different. It taught you so many things
Yeah.
that, like, wow, I would have not learned this being outside, or maybe like in a different caliber, right? And you
Mm.
actually, in that return, you actually give it so much more value. So I'm like, thank you. So I'm forever grateful. Thank you for you turning me the person that I am today, or else who knows? So I'll never look back and say, man, this is the worst time in the military. No, 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 no. Never see me that. So I'm always grateful on the experiences that happen. So just like this one.
No, no, absolutely, man. And for me as well, during our interview, we'll be having real live time comments coming in. For example, all the way from DC, the one and only Carlos, Mr. Media
Oh,
Rebel himself, saying it's about to go down here. Says, bring out the rice cooker. We'll definitely get into that.
yes,
Man,
please.
my boy Michael Galindo from Tubachata Radio, which we are live right now,
Oh
listening
my
in,
God.
as well as the one and only Kat Arias from Ferocity, saying media people are so important. She says, I use caps because it's so true. And we will definitely get into that. And realizing, I feel like this is really will be a journey, understanding who Sean is as the visual artist, but also as the person, how the experiences throughout your life have been able to mold you and shape you. And I definitely think myself and the people who are listening will also have a chance to get to know you a little bit more. As well, here we have a very special guest in the building. Yes, I know. I know.
That's the
Man,
key. He's the
that's
key.
throughout the night we'll be talking, listen to the comments coming in. But now, what I do with all my guests is I always love to understand, everything you've been able to do now is amazing, but we also understand it starts from somewhere. And you definitely touched on that earlier, talking about the experience of being an immigrant coming into the States, rather than just being a person who's born here, going through the ropes, going through the trials and tribulations. I think it's really important to hear that story because there are so many people in our community that have been through the same exact experience, and seeing a person like yourself that they can connect to and relate to, I think is awesome. So I mean, for me, I really would love kind of taking us back of who really Sean was before becoming the visual side of things.
Okay, perfect. I mean, I, I love, I love that story. If anything, like it makes me really grateful, like to tell that story, because I know I'm not the only one, and being able to share that to some people to say like, hey, I didn't grow up here. I didn't really experience this. Why is this and why is that? And I get to find those people, and I think that's so fascinating because like they tell me their story, and we start building that relationship. Like, what's your experience? Where you came from? What did you do? What did you have to do? Or like, what's the process? And then just to find out that in third world countries such as the Philippines, where I came from,
Hmm.
regardless whether you were born a little bit wealthy over there or you were born actually from the poverty,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. Being in America is still so much difference. Like there's night and day difference just because of all the opportunities that there is here. And I always like to say it's this same hardship. It's just it's a it's a different currency. It's just a different currency of hardship is what I see from, right? Because does that mean you have to work any less than the other? What's better than the other? It's just the opportunity that it does. But at the same time, you still need to put in hard work wherever you are. It's just if you're on a position where you can do that, such as the United States, you will have so much more opportunity with the same amount of work, which
Yeah.
is, I think, such a blessing and it's a fortune. So that's where, right, my approach is coming from. It's like seeing those people and appreciating opportunities, and which is the biggest part of my story where I came from, because it's it's uh it's coming from a place of gratitude and continuous appreciation, right? Because America, man, I used to smell United States from a box of a we call it
Mhm.
balik box. And balik box, it's just like goodie box when you send something from the family from a
Yeah.
different country there. It's a goodie box filled with like towels, chocolates, sometimes money, and life is great for a kid that was like 5, 6, 7 years old, and you see all this good stuff. It smells so good. I'm like, man, this is amazing. I just wonder how it would be like being over there. And being in
Mm.
the country, you also sometimes, you have access to, the TV shows that's like American made, or the music or the rap, and you see like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. Like, I just want to be there. So to me, it was just all a dream. Like,
Yeah.
I never thought this was possible, right? So knowing that, if I knew that I was gonna get here eventually, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy. Like, I'll do whatever I can. But
Yeah.
it's not me. Like, where another birthplace of gratitude, first of all, comes from God, yes,
Yeah.
and God's instrument, which is my mom, my family, because she works so hard. Man, my mom's a strong, hardworking woman that works so hard just to get it here, just to get us here, myself and my sister.
Mhm.
Um, it's crazy. Like, when it got here, it's just wow, it's amazing, because I didn't think it was gonna happen ever. I was trying to plan it out. I still don't know how I'm gonna get all the things that I have now, that like I never thought was possible. But what I had back there was a dream in the
Yeah.
Philippines, which, sometimes we forget. Sometimes we take advantage of that because, man, you're already here, And I think my strongest point is I never forgot about that. I would always tell people like, this is what I experienced. My friends literally tell me like, back when I was little in the Philippines, like, my boys would call me out, but it's funny. But to me, it's true, because experience is what built and made us who we are today. And the things that we know and the things that we look towards life is it's what shows from our outside appearance on how we talk to people, how we deal with things, art, dance, and everything, and even your happiness. So I that kept me very, very happy, because at the end of the day, even though what makes me human is the emotion, but
Mhm.
my basics and my foundation is that gratitude, that knowing where I'm at, and knowing that, hey, I could have been anywhere. I could have
Yeah.
not been here. I could still be in the Philippines. I could have whatever it is, but man, this life is great. So why should I dwell on the things that I'm doing now? So it's always back to the gratitude. They got America. Then, man, going to high school, man, I was already like senior year in high school. I was able to start sophomore, so I was able
Mhm.
to experience that. So being that immigrant, instead of like some people make it sound like it's such a disadvantage, right?
Mhm.
And what I learned, it's not. It's really not. Imagining having, it's like having like, experience, a
Yeah.
different look, like watching a movie, right? It's like, hey, what do I do if this person did that, or like in that precision, right? Watching a movie, like, man, I could have done better than this guy if he only treated a girl, whatever it is, or if he took the right actions. It's the same exact thing as an immigrant. That's why I've always
Mm.
called it like such an advantage being an immigrant. You get to experience the hard life, and
Mhm.
now the opportunity that you'd be okay with nothing, and you'd be even greater with something, because it's all right in front of you. Like, man, my government, I don't remember my government saying, hey, we're gonna help you because you're broke. Like, no, that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. That's not it. That's not it. It's like it's a survival on a different place. But in that spot, this also has its it has its own pros and cons. But
Mhm.
man, I I think I'd pick this. I love this place, but I'll be fine if God would say, hey, come back over there, and I have better plans for you there. Hey, I say, got it, sir. But I have opportunities, and I'm in a position where I can make a lot of difference. Boom, I'm right here now. Then the military.
Hmm.
That's when it's like, man, this is things are getting real.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you, man, because English is a second language at that point. Started
Gotcha.
with my dad asking me like, "Hey, what do you what's this? What do you want for dinner?" Or like, I remember like he asked me something and I didn't know what to say. Like I was like, "Mom, what did he just say?" So I was so confused. So I'm like, I thought about those moments and I will always remember like, man, there's a language barrier, and this is
Yeah.
like, this is rough. So being the person that are grateful and optimistic that I am, I was like, yo, I gotta solve this issue. And man, I listened more songs, read more books, spoke more. Whenever I come across people that knew how to speak English, and I'm surrounded by people that, instead of feeling like awkward, I do my best to listen in and chime in instead of like isolating myself. Because
Mm.
sometimes people are really good with that, and that's there are ways, and even though you could feel like that because of language barrier, I can't blame the place that I'm at because that's the custom over there, right? So it's like I don't go to your house and tell you what to do with your house, right?
Yeah.
Right, I'm in a different house and I will respect the customs and what's going on, and let me show you who I am and what I bring to the table, coming from where I came from. So I always look at it like, you know what, I want to learn the American way, and so are other ways because I'm not too naive that it's a melting pot. Like I
Yeah.
knew that. I saw it in the movies. I saw it in the magazines and stuff. Like so many people, so many different places from across like different countries. Like mind you, when I was in the Philippines, I knew three races:
Wow.
Philippine, Chinese, Spanish people, and Kobe Bryant. Like and Michael Jordan. Sorry, like and
Okay.
it's crazy because I was so naive to now going to a different place. Oh, and of course Caucasians, which to me I thought it was like, wow, you God's best creation, blonde hair, blue eyes, those missionaries that you
Yeah.
see, like holy crap, like I got to do this, give me a high five, man, and I feel
Yeah.
happy for a little, and I'm like, wow, like this is it, and then you come here and then you see all those faces,
Yeah.
different cultures, so man, it's and being able to make a change, being a part of that, learning the customs as far as language, culture, um the things that you do, just little things that, hey, you got to be really observant about, because at the end of the day there's people like you and people like me that if they're misunderstood, then they might take it in some type of way, so I always forward thinking, because there's only, there, even though we're all different, there's different sets of people that you can learn. It's either they're aggressive or whatever it is, just learning people and learning customs. It's my point. Then getting to the military, not knowing how to speak English, man, like I learned, broke the ice, and speaking more, to now I'm like, I can't stop talking. Why? I spend so much time learning on these things. So
Yeah.
I can't like be thankful and grateful enough for the things that I experienced, because wow, there's really just so much. I got no reason to like be dwelling on things that are going to pull to me, because if the
Mhm.
universe has brought me to where I'm at today, man, I'm not going to complain, and I'm just going to wait until I get to that part, because man, for some reason time said, hey, I'm going to make a change every time, or maybe some closer, some a week, sometimes a month, sometimes a year. And oh my goodness, I like to change because it's working for some reason. So I wrote that formula of, hey, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm just gonna keep doing it. And you get to the dancing.
Yeah.
Like, you realize what's like it's a whole new world out the military. So but the whole thing, it all came from gratitude, knowing my purpose, and knowing just how to deal with people. and not just thinking that it's just me, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people that think like it's a me. It's all about me. Understand me. Understand me. No, like let me understand you, like
Yeah.
without asking you, like because if you want to be understood, I'll find out because it's a reaction. It's always a cause and reaction and things like that. So I see those things instead of hey, listen to me and understand me. It's like let me study you. Let me without telling you, without being creepy and stuff like just
Yeah.
observe
Yeah, no, absolutely.
how people you know react to things on words and what culture works best with where what do we really have all in common, what do we have, what's the common denominator, right?
Hmm.
Like you know I studied a lot on that, and I think that's also another thing that brought me to where I am today. It's just really understanding people and knowing the quality of people that I'm dealing with. So if I really like respect you or praise you, like it just comes from genuine feeling because I hate being fake. I smell it. I know how it is. So like whenever I see Diamond sharing my stuff, liking my stuff, when sometimes I'm getting on a no like drought, it's all good. Diamond, and I'm like, man, that's my boy, and I'm proud and I'm happy because that means it's appreciation, whether
Yes.
it's jug or it's whatever it is like there's someone out there that might just need to hear that message, that one message that you wanted to deliver. It might change your life forever because that's what happened to me. So that's to me that's a goal. So that's a goal.
Man. It,
Yes.
it, it's amazing kind of just hearing a summary of your life because I think honestly, a lot of people have to understand. For many people who emigrate to the states, hearing their stories of the rough life that many people have had, the big resounding thing I hear is gratitude, appreciation, because realizing for many who have worked hard, especially our parents, who have worked hard for many of us to come here and realizing that us now growing up, we want to give back to them and give back to the others because we understand, like you said, anything can happen and you can go right back to where you came from.
Yes.
And everything can change in a split second. And for me, especially the Filipino community, I have a lot of friends that are Filipino who've told me very exact same stories. And one thing I noticed is that in the work field, a lot of Filipino friends of mine or people that I know, extremely hardworking. I mean, nonstop because they want to provide for their families. And I think that is really important. People have to understand is that people who come from other countries, especially now when you're talking about the military, myself in the army training, I was meeting people from different parts of the world that wanted to come here because the common denominator was they wanted to do better for their families. And
Yes.
realizing taking that step is not easy. People have to understand joining the military is not just getting your money and leaving. No,
Mm.
there's a process. There's a, as we call it, breaking you down to build you back up.
Yes.
Um, realizing whether you're in the Marines or in the Army, sometimes the tactics that are used are kind of mentally stressful, can push you to those limits. But I think a resounding notion that I hear among people like yourself, myself, people like Ace, and many other people who are currently serving or have served is that it kind of just it molds you into a better person. Ultimately, it depends on you, but I
Mhm.
think it helps you adapt to all situations that are put in front of you. And like you said yourself, coming into the military, not knowing the English language as fluently, you still not making that excuse. You
Yes.
still pushing forward and making sure you succeed because, again, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. When it comes to just life in general, we realize that as we get older, the more responsibilities we have, realizing everything, like you said, your mom put in place to help you succeed. But even the tough road ahead of your dad, kind of like giving you those lessons early of you want to learn this, you're going to learn. There's no baby steps. And, because again, life isn't like that. But realizing people like you and what you said earlier about even simple, kind gestures of just sharing a video. For me, I do it because I appreciate the craft of the people I see. When I see someone putting out a visual, I don't care how many likes. I really just appreciate the time and the effort that they put in because I know what it's like. I know what it's like for filming for hours and not sleeping and making sure that visual and that final edit is ready. Um, the feelings of when you post things and people message you and just thank you. So I understand that. For me, you being part of the military as a Marine, I appreciate it so much because I understand, as they say, they're very, I think almost a 1% of people in the population that join. So we understand the tough road. But I think it kind of helps us mold us into stronger, kind of, more firm. I would also say during this quarantine, a lot of us love isolation. So, I mean, it's kind of, for some of us, it helps. But for me, I guess learning about your life thus far, of what I've been hearing, it's inspirational because I think also people have to understand. I think everybody should have that mentality of working hard and pushing forward and not expecting things to come to you, rather you come to it. Um, because you realize, especially even now, about consistency. No matter if there's a pandemic or not, finding a way to put your brand out there, finding ways to promote yourself, finding ways just to engage more people, and kind of bringing some joy to people, especially. And we're going to get into that, especially your visuals that you've been able to do over the years, your collaborations with Ferocity. And for me now, a question I have then, because I heard you kind of going into it, was how did you really get into the dance scene? Because of course, just going through your life, I heard you say after the military. How was that experience like for you?
So coming from the military, I actually didn't know at that time. I was actually before. Let's see. I was actually very new when I got introduced
Mm.
to Tata. He was my staff sergeant. Um, man, which is crazy actually. So I'd like to I'm gonna add that on the end, like after this. But like the staff sergeant, he was just like, "Hey, you and you come with me." Okay, like let's do it. So he took
Yep.
this play called Tia Maria, Tia Juana, sorry, Tia Juana
Hmm.
in California, and they
Okay.
took like a basic class in bachata, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Let me tell you, I could not do basics. I could not do a simple like turn. I'm like, what? What do you mean 1, 2, 3, 4, and then raise your hand? I was so lost, right? I was so lost. I'm like, but I thought it was cool because like I was like getting that view of like connection with somebody, like dancing with someone, because I've been a dancer most of my life, but it's about choreography and dancing with a group,
Mm.
right? But at the end of the day, it's your own individual. You got to do it. You're not responsible for someone moving with you as one
Yeah.
motion, as one dance. So, it was so new to me, but at the same time, I felt that connection for the first time, and I thought that was really cool. And I thought that was like the best like feeling, but I
Mm.
that wasn't actually even it. But that introduction made so much difference that that I eventually saw it and experienced it and actually like enjoyed it. Because later on, I didn't keep going as much. I think I came back maybe 2 weeks later when that same staff sergeant he said, "Hey, I'm going to this club and there's this, there's that." Man, I'm telling you, I just watched him because he was OG. He was good. He was a much older gentleman at that time, and I was like, you know what? Hell yeah, I'll go. I'd like to go to a club. I don't care. It's a Friday night,
Yeah.
you know. And then I realized it wasn't like and it's not the same, right? Club bachata and like the people are not really the usuals that go over there. Um, it's a different atmosphere. So it's
Hmm.
like you're just in a club, you're trying to dance bachata, and it's like to be, I had the impression of let me show you my moves. Hey girl, I can dance kind of stuff. I was a young, 21, 22 year old. I don't remember how old I was. No, yeah, probably like 23, if I'm not mistaken. Because it was before I left for my PCS and my move over here.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, man, that was really cool. So I came back. I still couldn't do it. It was rough. Like so, I became like a little bit of wallflower. So I didn't really understand because I was just like that student. I still couldn't figure out the basic at that point, man. I was like,
Yeah.
driving me insane. Like I look crazy. Just I can't even do like proper basic. Just to 1, 2, 3, 4, like basic, none. Like I'm like, what? And I'm here trying to show up to this girl back then, and it's just like, nah.
It did not work out.
Try. I still kept going, and I tried. So that was
Mm.
my introduction story to bachata. And I got here is when it got crazy.
Mm.
Actually, the ace that you mentioned, the ace that
Yeah.
you guys know, is who really got me into bachata. And that's his story. I got here in about 2013, 2014. I worked inside a Pentagon, and maybe a year later, year and a half, that's when Ace came through. He Ace, sorry, Ace came in. We became close. I kind of became the sponsor and like show Ace around, yada yada. We get close, and let me tell you, Ace used to work about right here, over there, like just right across. So that really developed our relationship. So knowing like who is this Ace now, which is great. I'm pretty sure you guys know Ace. If you know me, you know Ace too. That's it. All right. But Ace, no, Ace is just such a beautiful human being.
Yeah.
That is, I've known this Ace. That's why it's so funny to see how Ace is Ace now. Like,
Yeah.
and it shows and it makes sense. So yeah, but Ace got me into the bachata scene. But Ace just took me to Bravo Bravo to Star, introduced me. Then boom, here comes your boy. Seeing all the amazingness that's happening on a Friday night at TSR. Like,
Mm.
what is this?
Yep.
Really
TSR,
talented.
infamous.
This is 2015, 2016 time frame. And I would just see like, whoa, this is so cool. Like I can't even like comprehend like I can't. And I just see like people just having so much fun, having such connection. And this is like the prime years in my point of view at that time.
Yeah.
Like prime years, to start at that point, Ataka Alemana like just massive blowing up at this
Yeah.
moment. The music like ferocity, like oh
Mm.
my goodness, like the performances, everybody watches, everybody's tuning in, like oh my goodness, what is this? And I thought that made me realize that point. I'm like, wow, and I thought I've seen connection. The way these people are connecting, whether they're doing sensual or traditional, not like I knew the difference at that point, but I saw the sensual way and the traditional way. It's just like
Mm.
the smiles, the enjoyment of what's going on. Of like, hey, we're dancing and let's just feel the music,
Yeah.
and let alone like Emerson DJ Immersive, DJ Immersive, my boy. Oh my goodness, primetime night, Wednesday night on TSR, and it's popping. Friday night, and it's popping, and it's just like you see everybody. Everybody's having fun. DJ Immersive spinning, TSR lighting it up again, and you see like, oh my goodness, this is like a dream. Like this is like it's like a scene from a movie. So that really got me into it more. At the same time, I was still having
Mhm.
a problem with that basic problem, getting that looks. I'm like, bro, do you know what you're doing? Like,
Ooh, that's interesting.
so I got that. I have that story of mine too, where I got the looks. I experienced the, um, hey, do more technique, or like, do you give me more spins? Yo, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
no, I don't know how to do it. So all I did was my best, which I did. And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, this is all I could do.
Yeah.
And the looks, man, and like the kind of like that judgment, that feeling of like, look at this little Asian boy, like, what are you doing? Like, and it's like, man, that sucks. that sucks. I'm the minority in the Latin community and Latin music of this. Like it's not like to me, I didn't think it was common at that moment. So I don't know how it was the views are back then, because
Hmm.
kind of like a while, a little bit until I realized, oh, there's more, like there's a growth more on like Asian people in the bachata scene at that time.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. But I would see them, they're really good already. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like okay, cool. But I didn't let that stop me.
Yeah.
I made me want more, because I just like sat there and I'm like, what if I like, what if I let those comments and those looks affect me in a way? Then maybe this would, I'm not gonna grow.
Yeah.
Get going. Took the classes beforehand, the basics, the classes, the
Hmm.
classes, like the international instructors will come in, like, boom, I'm there, right? But there's like I was still in and out, because it's a continuous battle, right?
Yeah.
Because it comes a battle of your identity. To me, I felt like it's more my identity, because it's not my common. It's not where I originally belonged. I had to get in there. So in order for me to do that, I need to give that respect of going in, not saying, "Hey, you need to accept me because of what."
Yeah.
No, it's like, "Hey, I'm coming in, and what's the entrance fee kind of stuff? What do I need to do kind of stuff? Hey, you need to learn the basics. You need to learn how to dance. You need to just do your best to not hurt people, or learn to have fun and give the same fun, so you get the fun back." So that's what I did. I took the classes and took the stop, like the necessary steps in order for me to really break into that. But man, if I didn't do that, I would not be here today. And not to mention Ace. Ace, oh my goodness, I'll never forget this. Like I said, Ace and I, let's go way back. Ace and I would stand in front of a mirror and do basics. Once I told Ace, like, yo, I need to learn, like, please help me.
Yeah.
Ace can already do, like the stuff that, the basics and all that stuff, like the more traditional way. And I'm like, I want to learn that. Like, I just want to learn the basics. Like, I just want to learn to give fun.
Yeah.
Put in front of the mirror, big old mirror, and we just do basics. That's it. Boom, boom, boom. Like, okay, got it. Then and it basically really just grew from there. But yeah, I forgot to add that story, because that's actually where it started first, before like all the
Yeah.
basic classes. Like Ace literally like helping me out, because Ace knows the stuff. Got the
Absolutely.
stuff.
And realizing too is that as you talk about the story of you emigrating to the States, and already that's a road you got to go, what path you're going on, that there's always some type of judgment, there's always the questions. But then now you're entering a dance community and learning again, kind of starting from scratch,
Yes.
learning, kind of like you said, you're entering into a world you're not really familiar with. I mean, you have people that maybe look like you, speak the same language as you, but now you're still starting from square one. And realizing too, I've talked to many artists myself on this platform, some who are Asian, from different countries who've emigrated here or their families have, and realizing this was a resounding topic was a lot of families, a lot of immigrant families that come, when it comes to the topic of dance, that can kind of be almost like a black, like a curse in a sense. Meaning is a lot of times with immigrant families, if they don't see a financial gain to it, there's nothing there. That was something I always took and put in my mind and had to understand, realizing a lot of families, when you say, I want to be a dancer, it's like, where's the money involved? What's financially in it for you? But they don't realize that maybe you just enjoy this. This is something you love and you found a passion for. But there are also very few people that can actually turn it into a monetary thing. They're very few, but people like yourself who are learning from the beginning, having people like Ace. I mean, I think that was just a luck of the draw of a person that now you're working with or stationed with, and that's as they call it, battle buddy in a sense.
Yeah.
They know bachata, and now you're like just teach me. And you actually putting the hard work and the time in to learn from the bottom and not allowing the judgment from the people you see. And I love that you spoke about that because I think a lot of people sometimes are afraid to speak about those stories because sometimes it can be hurtful. Because, I mean, coming into a situation you're not familiar with and people just looking at you and correcting you, I mean, I've been through that road myself years ago, but realizing that you were able to find people that allowed you in, that let you in. The memories I can see when you talked about immersive DJing at the legendary TSR, all of the people you were able to meet through that. I mean, for me, I've heard so much wonderful things about TSR from the visuals that you would see on YouTube constantly. I mean, the lights, the camera, the performances, like you said, people like Ferocity and Cat Arias, in different companies, and just seeing like everything is just kind of hitting you at once.
Yes.
And it's funny, just us talking. What's her name? Kat as well says Sean is the best person and is a true visionary. We also have here the one and only Melvin War.
Hey.
Hello, Dimelo. Man, trust me, we got a lot of people in these comments right now. Earlier, Carlos has said Janice is not going to let you go anywhere. She is not letting you. and, and then we also talked what you said about earlier, and Melvin talks about saying, I agree, man. To add on to that, a lot of people think because a person had a broken English accent that it automatically reflects on their intelligence.
Yes, sir.
Are they wrong? I mean, I totally agree with that sentiment because I think sometimes for some people who act that way, it's their sense of entitlement.
Hmm.
And for me, being a person who was born here, almost actually was born in Germany, my family, military family as well, realizing, there are people from the States that just have that sense of entitlement and realizing that there are people like yourselves who are immigrating here that just want what anybody wants, just to be successful,
Right.
have a roof over their head, food on it. I mean, food in their mouths, clothes on their backs, and, just living their dream and helping their family accordingly. And I think people really just do have to understand that, as well as my boy Brandon Walker, all the way from Philly, saying he's digging the setups as well. And Janice here says, God, gotta love the loyals. Absolutely, man. And all the way from Portland, Oregon, we got
Hey,
Brandon Ayala saying, let's go, Bloomer. We are going to get into
oh boy.
Bloomer for sure, as well as M saying salute to my brother, much love, Sean, as
Guy.
well.
So,
DJ Crisscross, all the way from California, saying what up, what up.
hold up.
And I mean, we really honestly, um, I love just seeing these comments and realizing people are watching and understanding your journey and learning a lot more about you, about internally how you were able to deal with different situations. Because I mean, it's with this dance community, your experience in that beginning for some people it can push them away, but for you it felt like it kind of it was a challenge that you wanted to take upon, and just seeing like thus far what you've been able to do as well. Noelia Garcia over here with Noli's empanadas. I definitely hope to get some of those sooner or later. And who did we talk about earlier? The one and only Ace is here in the building. Much love, much love.
Hey, it's my bestie.
Man, it's honestly it's a beautiful thing, and realizing like she says here as well that she truly is that Ace is truly proud of you. Realizing again that the journey that both of you have went on, and understanding that over time the experiences we go through help mold us and shape us into the people that we are today or still are currently.
Yes.
And for me, realizing, understanding where you started from, I mean, not many people can take those those opportunities, and really change their lives. A lot of people, when things get really too tough, a lot of people give up. And realizing, like yourself, you said, "Hey, TSR, I'm coming here. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna push forward. I
Hmm.
don't care if I don't know." two or three turns right now. I think when I come back, I'll be learning more.
Go.
So for yourself, when a question now that I have before we get into a segment that I called the randoms is, when did you notice kind of your love for filming? Was this kind of in the phase of going into the dance community, or this was something that you've always really had a passion for?
That's crazy because um, when I did filmmaking, it wasn't even because of the dance thing. I started doing this. My first introduction, my mom just telling me to take a picture of her, and I was like, okay, cool, snap. And she said, I'm like, okay, and she was like, hey, maybe you should do this more. Like you're really
Mm,
every snap is like, okay. I'm like, nah, whatever. I didn't take it because it didn't really mean a thing to me. I don't
mm,
know because at that point maybe my mind just wasn't ready for that and know what are the opportunities. Knowing having an eye for it is what they call it
yeah,
because I kind of like it just blew past my head. It didn't make any sense to me. And then being in the Marine Corps, I'm like, okay, there again. I know all the things that I do, but how can I connect more with people? Which also ties again with my past being in military and the future. So ties number one, shout out this what do you call that? Disclosure. If I call you out, if I tell you like I praise you for it,
hmm,
I'm not sticking my nose. All right. This is me. I'm giving genuine praise to people because
yeah,
I love giving credit to people. I think that's like the most it's sometimes it's kind of uncommon in a way
yeah.
because
No, it,
it, it becomes like a competition of some sort, but it's not. Like I tell you because to me I'm also a critic. I'm a critic for myself and
yeah,
very constructive when it comes to my criticism. But I tell them if they ask for it or if they trust me enough, then I'll tell them. But I love giving credit, and it's all like just genuine credit because you did great. I love your stuff, and or whatever good feeling towards about you. So that being said, I bring it back to Ace. Like Ace was
mm,
like just a big model to me. We started off. Well, I started off just doing videos of talking to the camera, um,
like vlogging.
sending that message, like just sending a message, connecting with people,
Yeah,
like hey, this and that. Like if you do this, you make a change. Like just positive thinking in business because we also did business together. Which more stories, like so much stuff. Like I said, Ace and I have been through like so much, and it's so funny because we just look at it and it brought us like so many things that opened so much more opportunities just by going through that. So
mm,
what is that to me? Like, hey, creating content. I did the same thing because hey, I also love sharing things.
yeah,
Not just it helps in the business, but I love sharing and I love inspiring people because of the story that I just told you earlier. Like this can only be me. And every single thing that I did, there are people that didn't make it that went through a different path that is still going through a different path or whatever it is. It's like some negative feelings or emotion or ill feeling towards maybe I don't know whatever it is, people, the government, or whatever it is, or even just simple as just a dancing or a dance that hey you can look at it a different way. And if I experience things and I got here and I got to a point where I'm at today where I'm grateful I maintained my identity and myself without hate or
yeah,
judgment towards other people, then I can find those people and maybe shed some light. If they don't understand, if they don't get it, it's okay. All I can do is do my best because that's in my control and I don't have control over other people. So being able to like share that to people opened so much more opportunity. So camera, talking to camera, doing videos, I was like, you know what's this YouTube stuff? What is this camera
yeah.
stuff? Like how can I connect more? How can I find more audience? Then I was like, light bulb, camera. Eventually, I tried to explore more in the video, posting more
Mhm.
video on my phone, and then I talked so much more about it, just like creating content, and then kept going, wanted to just shoot, and then eventually, I was like, hey, I want a camera, I want to upgrade now. What's this DSLR thing? I had one, but it only takes photos. I wasn't
Yeah,
really a photographer guy,
I
but
remember those.
videos. I like the visual because it can capture my voice and whatever it is, or do so much with it because it's like watching a movie, right? I look at it like if a movie controls what you feel, imagine what you can do if you're showing positivity, which we've seen it. Therefore, there's no excuse. That's a voice, and hey, let me take advantage of that. Let me share that. So that was like the starting point. Then my best friend now, that we've been best friends for so long, and just one day, this guy took me. So shout out to my best friend Eli Stephenson. If you're here, shout out to you. Love you, bro. That's my brother. He's also in the military. He's actually in the army as well. So you know how that goes, like some
Yeah.
brotherly jokes and roasting each other in a
Oh yeah.
consistent basis. So that's fun. He was like, "Hey man, come with me. All right, I'm going to shop for camera." I'm like, "Why are you shopping for a camera? Like, what do you need?" Because I just started doing like events with that camera that doesn't take photos. So I told him like, this is what's going on. I can't take video. I just use my phone, whatever. And I taken my gigs because I was just like just doing just random photos. Um,
Hmm.
and he took me to the PX, which is
Yeah.
basically like the store, and also it's like an all-purpose store. And he,
Hmm.
hey man, I'm gonna shop for a camera. Boom. He was like, I'm like, and he asked me, like, what do you like from there? I'm like, I like this. This is what I've been like watching and studying. This Canon T6i.
Oh wow, we're going throwback.
At that point, yeah. And he was like, "Are you sure? Like that's what you like?" I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, I've been studying it. I don't want to. I don't want to go crazy on what I'm gonna get." Little did
Yeah.
I know, this guy was trying to look for what I really want, so he would get it for me. And
Wow.
next thing you know, he got a camera for himself and he got a camera for me. He doesn't
Wow.
even take photos at that point. I was like, "What are you doing?" And from that point, I was just like mind blown. I didn't even know what to say because this is a big thing. I never really experienced that from a friend here in America since I got here. So I was just like, "What are you doing, bro? Like, you can't be serious." And I was just like so grateful because I wasn't expecting that. Our friendship
Mhm.
was like amazing already with the time that we've spent with each other, as far as like gaming and all that stuff. Like, it's just wow. And he did this. So that became like my love and my passion because wow, to what I was just like thinking and manifesting before, it just
Mhm.
happened. Like, oh my goodness, game over, baby. Like,
Yeah.
wow, thanks. And this came from a person that's like, I didn't expect this. Your friendship is good enough for me. Like, that's it, brother.
Yeah.
I still got your back. You don't have to do this. And he did. And I'm just like, wow, blown away. So now we film, we filmed like taking pictures. So I did more. I studied more. I knew in and out of that camera. Let me
Yeah.
tell you. And then I was like, hey, I've started doing this. Like, let me do this for free. Um, there's like a couple stories more that's like, wow, I have no idea what I'm doing. Let me just try to do it. So I didn't take a lot of time on the experience on the field side because I really studied a lot on the back end, which is, hey, let me take a picture of this. Let me take a picture of that. Let me shoot this video. How does it look like this way? That even though I didn't know the settings, I know how to press the button and I know how to set up a composition. So that was like my eye winning point on at least I'm progressive when it comes to that. So we got progress, and all of a sudden, um, I was like, hey, let me keep going. Let me keep going.
Mhm.
Boom, boom, boom. I got my first stabilizer, which is the glide cam that
Yeah.
got here on a Christmas morning, right? And man, let me tell you, I was walking around the house just like trying to like balance this, like
Yeah.
in and out of that thing before it even got to me. So to me, I'm just like, hey, I want to get to somewhere. I want to know. I really want to know. So I want to dedicate my time because I love this and I know what it's gonna do. Not just hey, I learned to use a gimbal, a stabilizer, or a camera. I'm learning more to provide a better result for anybody, for myself, for my happiness and satisfaction because I put hard work, and also the people that I'm going to use it for, they're going to like it because it produces great quality, based on what it's supposed to do. So I've always just like, this is the goal, this is the benefit, which is the people, myself, and everybody's going to be happy because it's a contribution to me. I just give it just right there. So if I didn't work hard on it, that's not going to happen. That's not possible.
Yeah.
So am I grateful? Absolutely. I'm thankful for the people that I'm doing it for, that I wanted to, make a difference to, whether I know them or not. Or maybe a random person that needed like some sort of content or a vlog that I made that someone was really happy about. So I just kept exploring because that's what happened of like having that camera. I just started vlogging and just
Yeah.
doing this. And it's sometimes I'd see it like, oh my goodness, I did this. This looks kind of cringy, but you know what? Hold on, I'm missing the point. I can't cringe too much on the visuals. I just need to remember why I did it and what my message was. So I that kept me going because I actually got results and people said, "Hey, I really needed this. This makes a lot of difference." And I just want to say thank you for doing this. And this one person to another, this random, DM messages that say, "Hey, I really needed this." And man, let me tell you, whether that video had one view, two views, and one special message from a person that say, "Hey, you made a difference," and that's all I need. I can keep going for the rest of my life because I made a difference on someone's life because I don't know what could have happened that day had this person not listened to it. So I'm a winner. I'm always gonna be winning because I'm happy that I made a change, and that's to me that's really what matters the most. And it just happened to make me happy too,
Yeah.
and eventually it gets money in your pocket. So why not? So the small thing, the small gestures became the small things that took care of the big thing, which sometimes it's bills, sometimes it's some sort of notoriety or whatever it is, like nice content. You got to do those things,
Yeah.
but my purpose and my mission was that one special thing, which is making a difference. And
Mm.
just because I knew I can, and I know that, hey, if movies can change your feelings or your friend can make a major difference in your life, what happens to a stranger that you're not even sure whether what they can do? It's
Yeah.
life. Whatever they come, hey, what if it's good? You'll never know if you don't try to do it. So that's what I did. Like it brought me to more exploration, more opportunities, more, that led me to MTV, led me to BET, led me to Australia, like New Zealand, Hawaii. I'm like, I'm barely into this business. I'm being able to get paid. I'm like one of my first gigs actually my second client ever was we did the BET.
Wow.
And had I not posted those things that I can do, which is clean stuff that sometimes people say, hey, you got to learn and experience it while working. Well, yeah, sure. I didn't have a lot of those because I wanted to train and learn
Yes.
the basic mechanics of it, which is basics, like crazy. Just how can I be efficient and operate on a level where I would pay someone because they can operate that fast, not just turn on a camera, but they actually put in time and effort in their craft. And someone saw that, and I did that with MTV, and I was just like, bro, what are you doing? You can't stop.
Yeah.
And then after that, BT. After I just kept going, do more gigs, random gigs. And what's funny is that I didn't even do this in a dancing because I was going. I'm trying to build something more for myself on my own identity that, like that's just the route at that time. Um, it led me to so much more. Like not once I tried to, do something in film here. Like no, I didn't ask for, to film in TSR. I didn't really go that route. But it's like, but I did film eventually, which is like there's still an own story about it. But like just being open to things and opportunities allow me to get to those things. And even though they're yesterday, they're experience, they're cherished like memories that really got me there, that get me hooked. And just because of one thing, again, is wanting to make a change. So I got so much win. I got so much benefits just because of a relationship that I built, coming from gratitude and remembering that hard work will make so much difference, and having more visions and big having bigger visions and just
Yeah.
thinking about more than yourself. So like there's so much fun. Oh my
No,
god, I can go all
definitely. So
day.
so well said. So well said. And now it helps me now kind of transition to the part that I have in every episode called the randoms, which is a 10 question. Uh, its purpose is really to be able to find out a little bit more about you, things you like, you don't like, help me and the audience learn a little bit more about you as well. But seriously, before that, definitely want to give a huge shout out to Stephenson out there. That honestly is amazing for someone to believe in you that much, to literally just help you with your focus and seeing something in you. Definitely big shout outs to Eli as well as Teresa saying miss the exchange. I definitely love the PX. You get a lot of things cheaper there. As well as Carlos saying Eli gets video shots for life now.
I
Man,
don't know who. Like
even Janice here saying
you're the
Sean.
biggest investor, right?
Yeah. And Janice is saying Sean is all about making that difference, and she admires that. And definitely, I can't wait to ask these questions. Some of them will be fun, little dance related, life related. So I'm definitely excited. Just let me know when you are ready.
I'm ready, man.
All right.
Here, I'm in.
So, first question is, what's your favorite food?
Spaghetti. No, sorry, rice.
Okay. White. I'm assuming white rice.
White rice.
All
Rice and
right.
egg.
Rice and eggs.
Yep.
Oh, as I think you took a little page out of a cat's book there. I like
You know
that.
why? Because we literally talked about that. Like, what's
Mm.
your favorite? Rice and eggs. This is a conversation between Kat and I. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Next question. What's your favorite camera? And we're talking about brand. So Sony's, Lumix, talking about just Canons. You name it. What really is your go-to camera or camera brand?
Canon for sure. Canon.
Okay.
Yeah, Canon. That's just
I
where
like
it's always.
I like that. I like that. All right. Next question is your dream vacation destination.
Whew, that's hard. Um. Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Hmm.
Whew, I don't know. I guess. I mean, because not even back home. Let's see. I've always been curious about the Bahamas.
Okay.
I never knew what it looked like. I mean, maybe I've seen it on Instagram, but just never really like researched. Like I'm not about. I was never really about like, oh, I want to go vacation there. Like
Yeah.
the mindset is like, hey, I want to get there because I can at any time I want. Like I have so much spending extra spending money and go there not worry about a thing because I don't think it's a vacation unless you really get to enjoy everything with no holds barred. You know, so
Okay. I
oh,
like
back in Hawaii. Actually, Hawaii. A little bit of no, a lot Hawaai because Eli was there with me too. Went to Hawaii.
All right. I like that. All right. Next question is what did you want to be at 10 years old?
A pilot.
Mm.
Pilot.
I
Yes.
like that. I like that. Okay. All right. Next question is what would you consider to be your spirit animal?
Hmm. I say a wolf.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Bro, do explain it why, or it's just speed questions? Just tell me. Just stop it. I know I talk too much.
No, no, no. Actually, no. I'm very intrigued to that, especially when I ask that question to people, because just seeing the type of animals they choose and why they choose it. I mean, it definitely is intriguing. People have chosen elephants. People have chosen eagles, and I really haven't heard wolf in a while, which is something I'm really intrigued about, which is dope. But a question I have next then is, what is really a big, and we're going to talk it about, and we're kind of dipping into the filming side. When you're filming an event, what is a huge pet peeve for you from the standpoint of the people that you're filming? Like, what is something you would tell people, hey, if you want to get in one of my films, and we're talking about maybe at dance events
Uh-huh.
or anything pertaining to that, what is something you would tell someone not to do?
Oh, don't cross my lens. Don't cross my view, please. And this and to top it off, I hate
Mhm.
the most is when like people just try to jump in or like oh they hit you like they bump on you and they just start
Oh,
jumping in front of the camera like yo what are you doing? I'm trying to film here like what and you think it's funny like yo chill so because I make the effort when someone passes by you know
mhm.
I prep those
Yeah,
movements like oh I'm coming here oh
yeah,
someone passing by boom I'll give that
yeah,
motion just to make it look like oh that's part of this part of the
yeah.
shot. You know, this actually happened with the Ferocity filming when I did um, the filming while we were in the bridge because there's so many people. There were bikes
Oh,
that were like passing by, people passing by, and I started like, oh crap, there's someone passing by, and I got to tell the you know the person performing, I'm like, keep going, keep going, keep going. I just move, move, move. Oh, the bike passed by, woo! And then
yeah,
freaking transition, like, what was that? And
yeah.
you know but sometimes it's it's hard to kind of patch it but hey I can't let that waste both times because I can make something happen and that's where just like kind of the forward thinking goes but yeah that's definitely the pet peeve it's like don't cross the firing line you might get shot like
Oh, I love that reference. Yeah. All right. Next question is, what would be your superpower?
is to have more knowledge
Hmm,
and know the right questions.
okay. Wow. I love it. Very informative. All right. Next question here would be, who are three people that have been most influential to you at this point in your life?
Whew, okay. I like this. I know those people off the bat. Definitely my best friend, Eli, Ace. Um, like the just how the relationship are. Kat Arias. To me, she's more of an amazing friend, family, and mentor to me. Eli, like I said, he's my best friend. Ace, same thing with the with the trust and the confidence and the the relationship and the connection and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, let's see, people that made so much change because a lot of people I treat a lot of people that make they people make such a difference in me and they don't
Mhm.
even know it because I'm a very big observer. Like I just love watching people um, because I know I can learn something from them.
Yeah.
So I never judge people like right off the bat unless they're just trying to like do some really bad stuff. Like no, I'd like to know more because there's always a reason why they're doing
Yeah.
the things that they do, and I just like looking at people's psychology so I know what to do and how to react in case that thing happens to me. That being said, like people that would just do some nice gestures and stuff like that. Like I said, I look up to a lot of people, but to the most important ones that I learned a lot from, um, you know, um, my friends, like really a lot, like
Yeah.
Janice, my girl, like I learned a lot from her. Like the people that's really close to me, and they're people that I really talk to and
Yeah.
watch all the time. I literally learn a lot from them because there's a reason why I'm with them and I love them and I tell them, like, I express them me, because not a whole lot get that, like, more raw me, because that's why I say the wolf, because usually the
Mhm.
wolf is like, they take care of their pack at the same time. They're they could be that lone wolf that at the same
Yeah.
time you're gonna have to think about the pack, you know. So, but sometimes wolves sometimes get injured because of those battles, and
Yeah.
there's people that take care of them, like that take care of that those wounds. To me, that's like people that, like, they take care of you. They cared enough long enough to understand and accept you for who you are today, um, and still love you for who you are today, even though whatever the reason why you're bruised, battered, or hurt today, and don't judge you for that time, and still love you. Then most definitely they deserve the love that they can get from you, from the person that what you're gonna be in the future.
Mm.
So, like, I take a lot and I respect, and that's why I love, also, again, I love giving credit to people, and I would tell
Yeah.
them I'm easy to express. So I just don't give it away, because again, I hate, like, being fake to people just to say, like, I can't
Mhm.
do it. It's just not in my DNA.
Yeah.
So I would say, oh, that's nice, right? To me, I'm like, it's just being courteous and stuff like that. But, like, people would usually see me, like, just lose my mind over, like, the smallest things, but because it's a truly genuine feeling of gratitude, of, wow, that's really a pleasure to my brain, to my visuals, or to your effort on what you've done. And it's really just, like, I just love it. It's just really all genuine feeling, which may could get mistaken for of, because it's not common, right?
Mhm.
Credits usually not common, and that's why there's people that really appreciate those things, such as you are.
Yeah.
And, like, you really just can't help but respect that. Like, man, love the hustle, love the effort, because that's not the common thing. And some people will feel it, that it will throw them off, that, hey, man, that's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Nothing, like, not a lot of people in this world are crazy enough to do that. That's too nice. And I think that's a crazy problem. Like, why is the assumption it's always in negative, right?
Yeah.
What's your intention? And but we're humans. That's what we see all the time. That's what we hear all the time, and that sucks. But what if, imagine a world where everybody is more towards positivity, and
Yeah.
more on gratitude, and more on giving credit and sharing and really helping, that there can friendly competition, is good competition. We're both trying to get somewhere, and and having the mindset of, we all can get something from the pie. you know there's people that and people that you don't know that I know.
Yeah.
Is there competition at the end of the day? No, it's just more, the competition is yourself. Like, how
Yeah.
can you get better, right? So, like, I get really, really deep to things, just because I love thinking of this kind of things. But to me,
Mhm.
it makes sense. Like, my goal
Yeah.
is I just want to get better. I just want to get better and always progress every single day. So,
Oh,
yes, sir.
absolutely. All right. So next question I have, the second before last, would be, what is a special talent that many people wouldn't know you have?
That's hard, man. It's really hard. Uh, I mean, I can do a lot of things. I really can do a lot of things, just because I love doing a lot of things. It's
Yeah.
so hard to answer, but something, what's not common. Uh, I don't
Well,
know.
it can be common. It can be maybe just a talent that many people probably wouldn't know you have, or like a select few of friends know.
Huh. Uh, let's see. Like, oh, I'm really good at video games.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah,
like,
video games. Yeah, yeah, I love video games. I'm a big nerd, man. I'm a really big nerdy.
I like that. I like that. All right. So the last question I have, I love asking this because everybody's answers are completely different. I think, and usually there's no really right or wrong answer. So the last question would be: if you were on an island, what are three things that you would have to have with you? But disclaimer: there is no Wi-Fi on this island.
Okay. Huh. All right. Definitely have a knife. I have a box of duct tape
Okay.
and let's see, flint. What do you call that? Yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, flint, a box of duct tape, and a K bar, like a big knife.
Oh man, the K bars. We're talking about, yeah. I know which ones to talk.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you so much. Your answer was like amazing because I've had so many crazy answers. Yeah, I mean, even without Wi-Fi, people want music, so I appreciate it. But I see where you're going, and again, I thank you for participating in this quick little segment that I have. I feel like myself and the people in the comments here, as you can see here, but also after this interview, you'll see all the crazy comments people have. Even Noelia telling you to sing. I don't know what that's about. So, but I think it actually helps me now transition into kind of the conclusion of our interview and realizing now we're hitting the present time. And like yourself, throughout the years, like you said, from beginning at TSR, kind of getting exposed to that environment, and kind of fast forwarding years later, a question that I have really is from your years of starting into this dance community till now, you being able to create 24K Visions, your media company, what have really been the overall lessons that you've been able to learn kind of being involved in this dance community, whether it be from the filming aspect, whether it be from the socialization aspect? Do you feel like you've learned quite a few lessons throughout your time?
Mhm. As far as filming, um, I, I, to me, the camera is the conduit, right?
Mm,
Like it's just the outlet of what it can do. It's just my instrument. Um, at the end of the day, I always go back to my purpose,
mm,
because what the camera has done to me has allowed me to see and meet more people.
mm,
Because guess what? Hey man, you got a camera and you know what you're doing and you're filming here. Oh, you done this and you're filming like these places. Yo, like, let's work together. Now people get curious and they
yeah.
see like I'd film in TSR and stuff like that, like they realize that. And then like I get that first like I guess like a first impression advantage of some sort, you know,
Hmm.
but that doesn't really say anything. So what it taught me is like, hey, I get to meet more people. I get to because I think there's like a little bit of like a stigma, like, oh, that's really cool. Like I got to meet the photographer guy, the video guy, because I want to be in the videos too, kind of stuff, right? So at the end of the day, there's kind of like that lighter feeling that hey, if you're nice to me, I might feel you, and you're doing your thing. Like, all right, man, what up? Because at the end of the day, I'm just a filmmaker. That's if I see that what's like doing like really great stuff that it's
Hmm.
beneficial what I'm being hired for, then that's what's gonna get filmed, in my opinion. But I still do film because there are people like me that had those visions that I want to get better, and you'd see it, and it shows in the dance floor. So there's to include those people, to include the people that that aspires to do the same thing, to
Hmm.
be better in the dance floor. Which I hope to continue. Like people just aspire to get better every single time in dancing, in life, that don't give up is, I mean, let alone dancing. We're gonna talk about dancing, like just don't give up. Like it's gonna hurt. Like
Yeah.
you're already been in pain. Like might as well get a reward for it by getting better and enjoying dances.
Hmm.
So like kind of complain less and more of fix the deeper inside what really the problem is. Then take it
Hmm.
from there. And And that being said, I get to meet more people, and I find
Yeah.
those people, and I talk to them. I ask them like your experience, and it's funny that you would hear like similar stories, similar things that, hey, like, yeah, that crap's painful. Like, I didn't like that, that feeling, that point.
Yeah.
But number one, some of them you've proven that you've gotten to this point and you've been doing it for years. But also there's people that maybe sometimes they need to hear those kind of um words, maybe you can contribute to their healing on
Yeah.
how you can change and have a different view towards dancing, right? Because like we say, and like I think it's kind of naive. I've heard this from the dance community, not to bash the dance community, but people would say, peace, love, acceptance, and this and that. But sometimes I would notice some people that, like, the people that would say peace, love, and acceptance can't even accept other people that maybe are just not well educated, right? So, it's kind of not fair on both sides because maybe they don't even know each other, and maybe they're just not knowledgeable enough about that certain topic, or maybe it's just like whatever it is, because the only people that you need to try to shun are the people that's really bad, and but that's kind of hard to find. You don't just see people that are just like completely crappy people, and that's kind of, in
Mhm.
my opinion, that's kind of more rare. It's just more people are just more curious and not aware, and embrace a certain way, have a certain culture, and they just don't understand because you know they don't know the culture of each other or how they look at things, right? So because I might see soft, and this person might see hard, and that kind of sucks. But how would you know if you're not aware of those things? So I always look at things, that you can't say the right things to the wrong people, and you
Mhm.
can't say the wrong things to the right people. If they are willing to receive it and it's meant to be, then it's going to happen. Therefore, like, if everybody, both parties know that, hey, they're well educated, they're more likely to be receptive to the things that, like, what's going on, instead of, I hate this, I want to leave the dance community, I hate this person,
Yeah.
becomes an animosity, like, like, that's really broken within the unity that we're trying to create. Having to dance with each other, seeing everybody,
Mhm.
on the dance floor, and really loving that. Because why should that be an issue? And I know it's pretty far-fetched to say that, and it's kind of naive, because at the end of the day we're all humans, and it's hard to accept those kind of things.
Mhm.
But why not make a change? Because one person could make a lot of difference. I did,
Absolutely.
and I'll do my best to keep going. I'll do my best to keep going, because I'm one of the person that changed. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it can't be only me. I'm
No, no, I definitely agree. And for me, I guess I say over the years, being able to learn from other visual artists like yourself, people like Kurt Conrad, Davin Wilson, Carlos Sijas from DC Media Rebel, and so many other videographers. For me, I appreciate visual artists that tell stories because we also understand it's not about what kind of camera you have. If you don't have the eye, it means absolutely nothing. I've seen people who have done films on iPhones. I've seen people do horrible work on a red camera. It really depends on the person. Having that honesty and transparency, helping one another, and really understanding when we talk about competition, friendly competition, healthy competition. That's a big difference between just being selfish and just wanting everything because realizing too, people like us, we have a responsibility to the community because we are the ones being able to showcase the stuff that we love seeing or being a part of to a whole different part of the world. So for me, it's like being able to have you on tonight, kind of getting an understanding of really who Sean is. Really, I tell many people, it's with one interview, you're not able to get everything. And being able tonight just to talk to you, to understand you more as not just a visual artist, but as the human being. That's what's most important because I think too people get very lost in the image of what they see. They can see Sean and they see 24K visions and they see the visuals, and sometimes they have a preconceived notion of who they think you are or they think you should be. But honestly, I think tonight we've been able to, and I feel like it's like a part one of kind of understanding who Sean is, because again, being able to talk to you again in the future and really going deeper into these stories that you have, I think is going to be awesome. And honestly, tonight's been seriously inspirational. Like Janice has said, really everything you've been able to talk about tonight, I'm thankful. These are really like gems, as you call them, nuggets, really of information, of just learning from other people, learning your experience, and not understanding in a sense that everything you're saying, there is someone who's going to be able to listen to this and learn from it. Prime example, myself realizing that, hey, you have to push forward. There aren't any excuses. There are people who have been through far worse in their life becoming more successful because they are working towards a goal. There is a focus, and just being able to learn a little bit more about you, I appreciate what you do even more. And really realizing it's people like you, people like Carlos here, who says we got to see the man behind the camera. That's what's most important to me, because I want people to be able to leave out of here saying, wow, I connect with Sean more. I learned a little bit more about him. And when things are safer in our dance community, we can all come together and I can see him and say, hey, I saw this interview and wow, I didn't know this about you. And I think that's awesome. Just being able to kind of connect with people, be social like we want to be. But, again, I appreciate you coming on tonight. But at least before we finish, I would love to know if you really had any last few words for myself and the audience. Yeah, really that, and contact information. And I'll definitely have a few announcements before we go about also things I love, that new ventures that you're doing as well that we'll get into. But yeah, man, the floor is yours.
Um, last few words, man. It's you know, in spite of the things that you know that you're aware of that you learn, at the end of the day, because it could still be negative. Because you might hold yourself on such a high bar and expect like, hey, I can keep moving this way, and I should be as such, that you might forget that you're human at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And sometimes you just don't give yourself a break, that you're so hard on yourself that you forget where you started. So, for example, the COVID.
yeah,
I've had my own struggles, and not even to the COVID part. COVID was just like a part of it. I had my own struggles in my personal life, that hey, like I need to have this kind of mindset in order for me to maintain and find myself on how I got here, and to keep myself grateful and appreciative with the things that I experienced and learned. So um always remember that you're human, and the best that you can have is the control that you can control of, is your actions and the things that you have control of coming from you to other people, is not whatever someone else's action is. What you can they can only have a reaction towards the things that you do,
yeah,
but your most control will be coming from you. And
mm,
that's what I want to give to people, and want to pass that message, that I have control over me. I can make the change. I can solve the problem. You know, it's you just answer the questions. If you can do it, the answer is yes, 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 and freaking do it. Does it hurt? Maybe, you
yeah,
know, but what do you really want to do? So, knowing what you want to do and where you want to get at, man, like just do it. You have control over it. Who cares if you're being lazy today, or taking forever to finish this edit, or doing this work? Like, who cares? Take a break. If you believe that you worked so hard enough and you did the best that you can, and this being human is just preventing you from doing that,
hmm,
break. And you know what? Keep thinking about the things that you want to do, and just re-snap back. Again, you're back to control. Because the more you relax and you see all the things that's what's going on from you, you get
yeah,
more. You get to see, and you'll have that control. And from there, hey, however people reacts to you, that's on them. If you keep getting negative, that becomes a trend. Then fix it and figure it out. Do I have to fix me, or do they have to fix them? I can't tell them to change, but I can change me. So
Mm,
I can only do best, and that's what I can give to people. You have control over yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, and literally you're the only person that can make yourself feel happy and successful, because you can accomplish so much and it wouldn't mean anything if you're not satisfied with whatever you're doing. I've experienced it on the videos, and it kind of hurts sometimes, because some people would say like, hey, I love this work, I love to do this, but my heart didn't feel like I was satisfied, and I could have done so much better and put more effort, which made me realize later on. But
yeah.
um a goal and sorry, like a success without satisfaction, or like
Mm,
your, a complete project without satisfaction, whatever you did, and you're not happy with it, you failed. You might as well have failed, like, as an artist, as the person that has love for whatever you do. Yeah, you did your job, but will this help you continue? No, the jobs just won't make you continue. It's you. So you got to take care of that part, that I need to be satisfied because I did my best. So
And I mean, everything is just dropping as gems. And I think really I can call this episode tonight a session of self reflection because I think more than anything, what I've been able to learn from you tonight is really that, taking a look within the person within yourself, because again, you are your harshest critic.
yes,
You are the one that has to look in the mirror every day and understand that the decisions you make breathe the consequences you'll receive. And realizing throughout your life, even through all the ups and downs, your the gratitude and the appreciation of where you are currently, you never take that for granted. Whether it be from your friends in the military, whether it be your friends in real life.
yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, no, no worries.
I'm
But
here.
it's honestly, Sean, tonight has been a very, very special time, a great session. And I just am thankful again that we can talk, we can build, and like I tell all of my guests, this is a part one to hopefully more parts of us getting together as well. Giving much love to you and your DC family, as well as your venture of, like you said, in your gaming. You are also known, besides as Sean Btista,
Yes,
also
sir.
known as Bloomer, with your gaming. So, I mean, for me, I appreciate that. I'm getting into gaming myself, more of the basketball Madden-ish
Yeah.
style. But, for me, just seeing people like you, people like Ataka, people like Immersive, getting into that field as well is awesome. Just seeing you guys happy, seeing you guys enjoying life, seeing you guys just, find an outlet that you love. I mean, for me, I support anyone that is trying to do better for themselves. So, I mean, again, tonight has been amazing. I would definitely say after this interview, check all the comments that are coming in still from M, from Janice, from Bianca de Jesus. It's great. But Sean, again, man, thank you so much for
My pleasure.
everything you've been able to kind of just all the information be able to give tonight.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Absolutely, brother, man. And thank you. I want to thank the DC family out there. I want to thank Dubachata Radio. I want to thank everyone that's been able to tune in tonight because honestly, you truly are an inspiration for me as well as so many other videographers because you don't only just lay out these visuals that are fire, but you lay out your hearts. And I can see it in everything you do. And that's why I love building and connecting with artists like you. And I definitely hope next year, 2021, is definitely bigger and better for all of us. Then hopefully we can all again reunite and really create some magic for our dance community with visuals, just making things bigger and better. Um, Seriously, man, much love to you and your family during just this crazy year. But seeing that people like me, you can persevere and really still stay relevant. through everything. Honestly, we're doing amazing work because we're putting smiles on people's faces. So for me, we do this from our hearts. We're genuine, we're honest and transparent. And man, thank you again for a wonderful time tonight. Thank you, audience. And definitely please, man, stay safe. And till next time, everyone, have a great night.
Thank
Everyone